Man, welcome to Gator Fridays. Gator Fridays, as you guys know, this is Big 3T2Y. We cover all three teams. Today's Friday. It's Gator Friday. We're gonna talk some Gator football. Now, as you guys know, as you come on in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, follow me on Twitter. You guys can see it on the screen below. Also, if you want to donate, you can hit the Cash App and all that good stuff, or you can just hit the Super Chat. Anyways, Billy Napier, getting ready to make that trip all the way up there to Utah. Now, he spoke today, praising Utah. Utah coach said basically, this is one of the most talented team he's had in a long time. And he's been there for about 19 years. So Billy giving them praise. I think Billy already knows what's going to happen when you get to Utah. Now, as you guys know, the games are coming closer, so the predictions are starting to, come out. I think Utah got a couple injuries in some key, positions like that or whatever. So it should be an interesting matchup. They did play Florida last year in the swamp. Florida got a victory, Utah kind of gave that game away, if you ask me. But anyways, this time you got to go up to Utah. Now, I think Florida's only been out of the state the first game of the year, I think like 3 times since 1977, if what I was reading is correct. So they normally don't get out of their comfort zone, in the non-conference games or whatever. Normally it's played in the state of Florida. Normally it's, whether it's Miami or somebody like that, or, they'll get a little cupcake games, and then every now and then, they become a cupcake, like when they lost to Georgia Southern. That's tough. Anyways, the link is in the chat, Gator fans. As you guys know, these shows are open mic, so you guys are more than welcome to come on and talk about your team. As you guys know, if you leave it up to me, I'm just probably going to bash y'all all show or whatever. So I do leave it up to you guys to come on in. It's a open mic. The link is already in the chat. You guys get in the chat. Also, let me know who all is here, who all is watching, and all that good stuff. So, a couple things happened on y'all boards today. A couple of things y'all discussing, of course. There's early names in the 2025 class that you guys are looking for. And then, obviously, you got your key injuries on your team. Justice Boone is one of them. From what I'm hearing, Jack, what's his name? Pyburn, and the other guy, I've been hearing Sapp. I think it's Therese Sapp, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're going to get some significant snaps. Also, your center. I think your center, the guy that you guys sent the media day, the one that's can't wait to play Florida State, even though Florida State is the last game of the season. He's also injured and might be out for who knows how long. According to Billy Napier, that's a day-by-day injury. So, we'll see if he'll end up playing. If not, you might have some young guys, taking snap. Graham Mertz, came from Wisconsin. Didn't look too good. If you're going to have a guy, not a veteran present when it comes to center, it might be tough. Might be tough. Peanut, you the first one. You first one in the chat. Peanut, what's going on, Peanut? He said Florida State ranked number 8. I'm pretty sure Gator fans don't really care about Florida State tonight. We do a Florida State segment on Wednesday nights. Seminole Wednesday, but right now it's Gator Friday. We're gonna talk about the Gators, Peanut. Peanut, if you want to come talk about the Gators, you can hit the link in the chat. Normally this, open mic is reserved for Gator fans, but, if none of them wants to hit the link and come talk about their team, you're an Alabama fan, you're a rival of theirs. You can come tell me what you think about the Gators. We're going to stay focused on the Gators tonight. So, obviously, college football is almost here. And then also you got high school football. Some of the Gator players have already, been on the field. Some of them been showcasing their talent. Some of them already taking L's, and some of them been, doing pretty well. Xavier, I think he's a safety for the Florida Gators. Well, not for the Florida Gators. He's committed to the Florida Gators. I'm not going to say anything until he actually signs on the dotted line. So, he's been doing pretty well. Had a game saver. I think the score ended up being 23-21, but that last drive for the other team, he caused a fumble. They got it back, and that was all she wrote. So they do have some talent that's committed. That's basically showcasing their talent pretty early. As you guys know, like I said, high school has just recently started. So let me see what you're saying, Peanut. Me talking about Florida is like going to the dollar store. Man, that's tough right there. That's tough. Hey, shout out to Dollar Tree. Shout out to Dollar Tree. You can find the Florida Gators black jerseys at Dollar Tree. That's tough. Shout out to peanut butter cookies too. We eating peanut butter cookies on the Gators tonight. Peanut. Some Gators starting to show up. Forced fumble. My boy the dog. I think he caused 2 fumbles that game. Yeah, he definitely did. He put a lot of effort in that game. I could tell. If you guys end up keeping them, I would say that's a tremendous get for you guys. Will it transfer from high school to college? That's a whole different story. But as far as him performing in high school games, he did pretty well. So Utah, man, I want to double check the numbers. I want to see what the spread is. I know Utah's a favorite. They should be. If you look at the roster for the Florida Gators, they're pretty much young team. They don't have much of a veteran presence, of course, and then the Lehman injuries. Now you can say the same for Utah. They do have some injuries, especially at that quarterback position. So that should be an interesting matchup. But I do want to see if ESPN has updated their line for that game, their prediction for that game. I want to see if Vegas, lower the line or up the line. I think at one point Utah was a 9-point favorite in that game, so definitely want to see if they change any of it. Don't mind the background. My girl's cooking. Normally. Okay, so you did your numbers. Y'all Gators on top of it today. Favored by 4.5. It went to 10 to 4.5 in the last few days. Yeah, so that might be because of the quarterback situation in Utah. I think Cam Rising, he's hurt and might not play the first game. Not quite sure. Then from what I'm hearing, the backup might be injured too. So that first week might be very interesting. So let me see if I can run that game. I do plan on making my way up there to Gainesville sometime this year. I'm not quite sure when, but I am going to try to make it up there one of these games. I think I might go the last game of the season. I might go to the Florida State-Florida game. Might go into enemy's territory for the first time. If I'm not mistaken, and you guys correct me, isn't it is Florida versus Florida State? Is it in Tallahassee or is it in Gainesville? So let me share this with you guys so you guys can see what ESPN thinks about y'all. All right. So as you guys can see on the screen, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So you guys definitely can see it. So ESPN matchup predictor. They're basically saying that Utah is a 67.9 favorite. Percentage wise, the game is going Utah's favor. Um, Obviously, there's no season leaders or anything like that. Games haven't been started yet. So, but the last couple rounds, Florida's actually on a losing streak right now. Florida's on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Florida State, and then in the bowl game they got beat 30-3. Utah's also coming in on a 1-game losing streak. They lost the bowl game to Penn State. So yeah, they beat USC, beat Colorado. They beat the bejesus out of Colorado, 63-21. And then they had a convincing win against USC in that Pac-12 championship. Of course, they're back-to-back Pac-12 champions. So this is not no pushover for the Florida Gators. This is going to be a real tough game, and I do think the Florida Gators will lose this game. I'm being 100% honest with y'all. I think y'all lose this game. So home game for them. They're thinking that the weather is going to be around 83 degrees. So you already know how that is. From what I'm seeing here, the line is not 4.5. The line is sitting at Utah 7. So they're saying Utah going to beat Florida by 7 points. That's what they're saying right now. The over and under is at 46. And if you're a betting man, Utah is favored by a touchdown. They're favored to beat the Gators by a touchdown. Obviously, home field advantage, altitude, and all that good stuff. The game is on August 31st, so obviously in the next 6 days, you guys will play them. It's at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Coverage will be on ESPN, so that game will be televised on ESPN for the world to watch. So Utah, home game win streak. I think it's at 14 right now. I think their home game win streak is at 14. So the Florida Gators definitely want to go in there and try to, end that streak, But if you want to talk about the real leaders when it comes to home game win streak, that would be the Miami Hurricanes. That would be one of the teams that the Florida Gators run from, since the early 90s or whatever. That'll be the Miami Hurricanes. They got a win streak that's like 52, and nobody's matched it or beat it since. So, that's tough. So Utah coming up. A lot of injuries to the Florida Gators. It's it's gonna be a hell of a season for Billy. I know that much. Sarge in the building. What's going on with you? UGA 15-0. Shout out to Cash Jones. Oh man, Alabama fan. Hey, Peanut, you gonna take that from Sarge? He talking about they going 15-0. Peanut, what y'all doing this year, Peanut? What y'all doing, Peanut? That's easy money for me. If Cam play, we win by 5 or 7. If he So you really think the Florida Gators gonna march into Utah and beat Utah? I can't see it. I just can't see it. I think y'all team is just young, and it's not just me saying it. All the guys, all the experts, they're predicting you guys to win 5 games this year. So obviously, you're gonna have to pick and choose where your wins come from if you're going 5 and 7. Man, 5.5 is what Vegas got you guys for the year. So if you win 6 games, I know your fans, y'all got high expectations. So you're not gonna, look at it as, what's the word for it? You're not gonna look at it and say, yeah, you know what, we accomplished something. Y'all expect more from Billy. And to be honest with you, I think y'all expectation is a little bit too high. Because I don't think some of you guys have actually evaluated your roster, look at your depth, look at your drop-offs in a lot of key positions. A lot of you Florida fans, to be 100% honest to you, y'all are delusional. A lot of y'all are delusional. I've been hearing that we're going to win 8 or 9 games this year from a lot of you guys. You guys ain't looking at the bigger picture. You guys are using your fan hat, and you're not really digging deep into some of these rosters, some of the teams that you got to go up against. A lot of these guys are light years ahead of you. LSU is light years ahead of you. Tennessee right now is light years ahead of you. So Kentucky, you're not even on par with Kentucky right now. So it's going to be tough to see y'all go into Utah and get a victory. I can't see it. Peanut saying that you guys going to lose by 17. Then he changed his mind and said Utah going to beat y'all by 21. Make up your mind, Peanut. How much they going to lose by? It's I got Utah by 3. See, Sarge is being generous. He's being generous. I mean, I could see Utah winning by 3 or more too, based on just the quarterback situation. But if they have a healthy quarterback come game time, I'll take Utah to beat the brakes off Florida. And he said, I bet he beat all the teams you just said. So you're gonna beat Kentucky. You're gonna beat Tennessee. You're gonna beat LSU. Dang, I should have threw Georgia on that list too. Y'all gonna beat Georgia too? Let me know. Y'all gonna beat Georgia too, Florida man? Y'all gonna beat Georgia too? I don't think so. It's the eve of totally not depressed. What's going on with you? It's the eve of college football season, and T2Y still hasn't changed his channel name back to Hurricane yet. This channel will never be changed back. It's Big 3 moving forward. Time, chill out with that. You can still find me if you type in Hurricane T2Y. So that's a done deal anyway. It's actually my tag. So that's tough. Now, Peanut, are you saying Florida gonna win 6 games, or they gonna beat Utah by 6? But first you said Utah was gonna win by 17. Then you said they're gonna win by 20, 21. So I'm guessing you're saying Florida's gonna win 6 games. But you know what? Let's pull up Florida's schedule because I can't see Florida winning 6 games. I cannot. They're not winning 6 games, Peanut. I know you a SEC homer. I know you root for every team in the SEC when Alabama ain't playing. I understand, but they're not winning 6 games. Florida's not winning 6 games. Hell could freeze over right now, and Florida still ain't winning 6 games. That's tough. All right, so let's see what's the buzz around the Gators. What's going on with them? Oh man. So obviously, a lot of high school football is going on tonight. So most of the guys that are committed to the Florida Gators, they're going to be playing tonight. I think I've only seen on one occasion where one guy's season doesn't start until next Friday. But a lot of their commits should be playing. So we're going to start seeing whether these guys are as good as they say they are, or some of them even better than what they say they are, and some of them probably just not going to live up to the hype or the star ratings and all of that. It's about that time where you start seeing, kids either level up or they get dropped, plain and simple. Now, I honestly haven't seen a lot of coverage, on Florida or going into, this season or whatever. A lot of people have already written them off, count them out. They're not going to win. Eject this season. This season is like an airplane in the air on fire. Everybody's already ejected. They're looking forward to 24. So obviously, they got a lot riding. Oh, perfect. Let me pull this. Let me put this on the screen. So that's the Florida Gators schedule right there. Utah is an L. Utah is an L. Tennessee is an L. Kentucky is an L. Florida State is an L. LSU is an L. South Carolina L. Georgia L. I don't see them winning 6 games. I don't. You could give them McNeese State. You could give them Charlotte. You can't even give them You can't even give them Vanderbilt. You can't even give them Vanderbilt. That game's a toss-up. You can't even give them Missouri. That game's a toss-up. You can't even give them Arkansas. That game's a toss-up. So obviously, I don't think they win in 6 games. I don't think so. They only got 2 guaranteed victories on here, and they might pull a Florida State and lose to Charlotte or McNeese State. I can't see them winning 6 games. I'm not seeing Florida bowl eligible this year. I'm not. I'm seeing a losing season here. Looking at this, and let's be honest, 2024, their record, their schedule is going to be even hard. I think the best thing the Florida Gator fans could do this season is go watch Swamp King. Put Swamp King on repeat every Saturday after every loss. I think it'll probably make them feel better. Go, Florida Gator fans. Swamp Kings. Remember that. Swamp Kings. I'm going to need you guys to remember that. Every Saturday after every loss, just put on Swamp Kings. Just put it on and enjoy the victory days back in 06 and 08. Just put on Swamp Kings and listen and watch it over and over. Because this season is going to be tough for y'all. Y'all going to be crying in the car a lot. I know y'all Gator faithfuls, y'all going to go to the home games. Y'all going to be in there just moping and weeping and whining and all that. But when you get home after that long drive, after that loss, and you don't think of all the possible plays that y'all messed up that y'all probably could have did better on. When you get home, put on Swamp Kings. I know, if you ain't got Netflix, you can watch it on a Fire Stick. Go buy you a Fire Stick, Florida fans. It's gonna come in handy this season. But when y'all start catching these L's, y'all gonna remember T2Y said we could have watched Swamp Kings after. Florida Gator fans are bragging all over social media about this 4-episode deal that they got on Netflix, where they highlight pretty much everything except for all the bad stuff that happened at Florida. I did see former Gator / Auburn Tiger, Cam Newton kind of weighed in on the Florida situation. Said that he was very disappointed in that documentary. They left out a lot of stuff. It was called Untold Story, and obviously it lived up to the name, Untold Stories, because there was a lot of stories that they left out. They barely mentioned Hernandez, which we already know he's the Gator talk of the century. They barely mentioned, Percy Harvey or whatever. They barely mentioned all of the criminal activities that was going on at Florida. They left all the good stuff out, the stuff that was like all over social media, the stuff that was, basically national news. They left all the good stuff out. I think that documentary was boring as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was very boring. Very boring. Oh, man. Chris, what's going on with you? Oh, man. Noel in the building. What's going on with your boss? He says, I hope they keep Billy forever. He can't coach. Billy is probably one of the worst coaches in the SEC, to be honest with you. Probably one of the worst in Power 5. That's tough. But he can recruit, though. He can recruit. I give him that much. He can recruit. Man, I'm putting the link in the chat again for you, Sam. I told y'all, if y'all leave it up to me, I'm going to just sit here and dog y'all for the duration of the show. But the link is in the chat. Bahamas, what's going on with you, my brother? What's good with you? Hey, man, it is what it is, man. Hold on, let me do this. So obviously, recruiting never ends. Recruiting never ends. It's 365.
Season right now. We'll do recruiting after the season, and when it gets this recruiting time, we can talk about recruiting.
Nah, damn, Mully. We in recruiting 365. So obviously, the Gators ain't done yet. The Gators are not done yet. They're still trying to get a couple more key pieces in their class. I think right now they're up against Florida State for a certain recruit. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring that up for you guys because I kind of want to have a little discussion about that. Kind of want to have a discussion about this guy. All right, so obviously, you guys know there's a lot of battles going on in Florida. There's a lot of battles going on for a lot of recruits. But the main one we want to talk about is this guy right here. Let me pop him on the screen for you. Gator Sam, what's going on with you?
What's good, my boy?
Man, I've been killing y'all for the last 30 minutes, man.
Hey, listen, I don't know what YouTube was on your side because I set the reminder when you first had, the thing pop up for the GATOR Friday. I was like, I'm gonna tune in today. And 30 minutes went by and it never let me know. And something said, get on YouTube. First thing I hear on YouTube, as soon as I press the app is, yeah, and Gators, I don't see y'all winning 4 games this year. I'm like, yep, he's in his prime right now. I didn't see nobody in the group chat or nothing. I was like, yep, he's in his prime right now.
Oh, man. Young Semino, what's going on with you? All right, so obviously you got a 4-star cornerback in Jamari Howard. Now, this is from his word. They quoted him. Both schools really recruit me hard. I talk to coaches from Florida and Florida State every day. This is from Jamari Howard.
Right.
So obviously, this is a Florida and Florida State battle.
Honestly, I wouldn't even say that. I think Florida is more 30% not Jamari, but Florida State more 70. I think he commits to Florida State, if I'm being honest with you.
Now, the reason I brought this up is because when these recruitment battles happen, a lot of the time, the school that don't end up getting him, they always say he's not a take.
Right.
He wasn't a take. He got pushed out the class. We had bigger fish on the line, all that stuff.
Right.
So for him to say this, I thought it was perfect. Both schools been talking to him every day.
I'm going to be honest with you, T2I. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm personally one of those fans that believe in keeping the talent in state. I don't really care in this situation where he goes, as long as he stays in state. He could not go to either one and go to Miami or USC.
Nah, but you got to think about it though. Keeping the talent in state sounds good until they come and bite you in your butt.
I'll take that because that means it's only 2 or 3 teams outside of your team.
But think about it.
Worry about
when you have the state of Florida. Let's just say you miss out on some guys or whatever. They end up going to Miami. They end up going to Florida State, making those teams stronger. You know, Florida State right now, if they beat y'all, more kids are going to be prone to go to them than y'all out of the state of Florida because we know they follow the wins.
Right.
So a guy like this end up on their roster. They beat y'all again this year. More kids going to start not wanting to leave the state of Florida because they're going to see a team like a Florida State winning. So they're going to join them, eventually making them stronger and making it damn near almost impossible for y'all to beat them in the near future.
So let me tell you my take on that. So to an extent, that's very much, you're right, to an extent, which is why you have to get out there and compete. So I get it, keeping the talent in state, but let's be honest, this is a football state. 80% of the talent in the country, if you ask me, come from this state. Everybody got somebody from Florida on their roster. Ohio State, Michigan, everybody.
I mean, just look at the NFL draft.
Exactly. Most of those people, but that's the point. Even if, let's say, Miami or Florida State dominate against Florida, hypothetically, and, you y'all, one of the two teams, one of the big three, they dominate the recruiting and they always get those top tier players in Florida. Well, Florida has enough talent. Not the school of Florida, but the state of Florida has enough talent. I would venture to say to go around. I'm just being honest. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that's right or 100% a fact. My opinion. You got schools in Florida from top to bottom that has 4 and 3, 3, 4, 5 stars, 3, 4, and 5 stars. So it's natural that it's going to be spread out throughout the state of Florida. Hell, if you want me to be honest, Miami should have dominated the state of Florida for the last 10 years. Look where y'all located and look what top teams or high school teams are around Miami.
You know, a lot of people outside of the state or even up north or haven't been down to Miami, a lot of them have a perception of Miami.
So is it because of that sanction situation or that situation that happened to y'all a couple some years back? Like, what is that? Because growing up, I always wondered what was it about Miami, because Miami wasn't never a team that I was like, I can't stand that team, because obviously I'm a Gator fan. I didn't have to worry about y'all every year, and I didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s watching y'all whoop up on the Gators. So just for me as a younger guy, what is it about Miami that's not appealing?
See, a lot of the negative recruiting and all that stuff, it's centered around like the hood. They make it sound like Miami is this hood, but a lot of these kids, until they get down to Coral Gable and see Coral Gable for themselves, the parents and everybody who haven't been down here, they only go on like, you know, the swag, the attitude, and you know, the hood, this, that, the cocaine cane days and all that stuff. And then when they finally come down here, it's a total opposite. So it's a lot about perception.
I give you that, and just for context, I've actually been to the campus. You know, I'm in Jacksonville. I live in Jacksonville, born and raised. I done went to a couple Miami camps down there. I got invited my junior year. We actually had a tournament down there. My high school, the 7-on-7 team.
What
and
year?
Then
What year was that?
That was 16 and 17.
Okay, so more recent. And
Yeah,
even
that's why I
now,
said I'm not.
when you look at Miami campus actually look like a resort now.
I could believe it. When I went down there, I can see why. When you get down there and you see all this stuff that's near Miami University, it may seem like it is in the hood. I can give you that. Like, if you get down there, you thinking it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. When you get there, it ain't. You know, but it's not. It was a beautiful facility, beautiful campus. It was very nice. I ain't gonna take nothing from them. I was just saying, because you had a good point. I never really never knew why, people didn't stay at Miami in terms of like the state of Florida recruiting always going down to Miami, because look what high schools are in Miami. Miami Central, Dade County, not Broward is more upwards towards is in the middle towards
I
Orlando.
think what you'll start seeing too, since the internet era is at its prime right now, you'll start seeing a lot of visits come down here. A lot of these guys, using YouTube, using Instagram and all those, and they're showing their experience. They're showing the city. They're showing how campus is and everything like that. So that perception that they used to put out of Miami as being this, bad place, cocaine capital and all that, it's not going to work.
You don't think so?
Nah, because from what I've been hearing from a lot of the recruits is Miami is not what they made it seem to be. They told me Miami was bad. I'm gonna go down there, I ain't gonna be able to focus on football and this, that, and the third, and it's not. And then you also got the kids that say, plain and simple, that Miami has the most beautiful women they ever seen, and it's a lot of diversity down there.
I would venture to say that's not a stretch. I almost didn't get back on the bus to come back to Jacksonville when I went down there to that camp. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know it was snow bunnies in Miami, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Hey, let's get back on these Gators. It's supposed to be Gator Friday.
Right. No, but that was a good question though that I wanted to ask, because obviously you're a Miami fan, and I don't know everything about your team, but I can talk about my team all day.
So we actually got a Florida State fan in the building. Corey, what's going on with you?
What's going on, man? I missed you on my Seminoles, so I just hopped on the Gators, man. They're my little brothers, so I hopped on the channel.
Can you not try to spit on me while you talk about my Gators like that? Don't ever disrespect us like that. It's
No, but
Gator
T, I got a
Friday.
question for y'all. No, I got a
It's
question
Gator
for y'all
Friday now.
Gators. I got a question for y'all Gators and you too, T. How bad do y'all think the NCAA are allowing those satellite camps from all these other states to be put down in South Florida, and then Florida hurt the three Florida teams with recruiting?
Wait, satellite camps. What's that?
Yeah, you know how like Alabama and all those guys, they had camps down there where they can set up pretty much down in high schools, and they set up down there during the summer, and they can bring their team over and practice, and they were getting a lot of exposure like that.
So I'll be honest with you. That's not necessarily new. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know all about it. But I do know what you're talking about because I've heard of that. I've heard very little, but I've heard of that. So, but if we talking about it, for me, I don't really think it's too bad because it's the same. It works both ways. We can do the same thing in other states. I
Yeah, but we
mean,
wouldn't need to be honest.
exactly. That's what I'm
What's
saying.
the
It
what's the
doesn't really hurt.
benefits of us going up to Colorado and setting up camp?
Right. Hell, or even Alabama. You don't
Yeah,
have
I
to do
mean,
that. Florida has enough. If it's one thing Florida has is football. We might not have nothing else.
I think
No,
they're looking at if you look at the NFL for what it is, most of the top talent, especially skill players, come out of the state of Florida. So I think that's what they're probably trying to do. They're trying to entice those guys at an early age, make an impression on them at an early age. Because if you go and you see these big old, college players at your high school, it might give you that impression like, hey, I want to be like some of them guys. And it
Yeah.
might stick with you.
yeah.
All right, so
So
who gonna be which one gonna take the further? I would like to see Miami and Florida play every year, just like my Seminoles play both of you guys every year.
I would like to see that as well because I want to debunk that whole, oh, Miami just gonna whoop Florida behind every single year. I personally, as a Gator fan, I can clearly see back in the day, Miami owned Florida, but Miami also owned everybody else. Just like Florida State owned Florida, but they owned everybody else as well. And then those two powerhouses played each other all the time. I
um,
don't think I don't think that's the same narrative now. I personally think if Florida would have played Miami the last 10 years, every single year, I don't think Florida comes out of that with 7, 8 losses to them. I
probably
think
be
that
down the middle somewhere.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just being completely honest. I ain't trying to be biased. That's just being honest. I think it'll be some years where Miami they just have a better roster that year, and Florida don't. And I also think it would have been years where Florida just does what Florida do from time to time. They show up in games and make you think, oh, they are in the SEC, and then the next week you would think they was it the Rocky Mountain Conference or the Big East or whatever it is. Like they wishy washy.
Okay, I'm joining late, man, so I'm gonna hop on my little question and get out, man. How confident y'all is in y'all offense and that transfer quarterback y'all got? Can y'all average 25 a game?
That's not the question that should be asked, but I answer it because everybody that's not really watching Florida, as in you're not really keeping up with Florida outside of they got a backup, they got a quarterback from Wisconsin that didn't put up Heisman numbers, and they got an offense that was depleted. That's for the most part what everybody outside of Gator fans and the Gator people know of. But if you actually keep like you watch them how they got things rolling, I'm not saying Florida's going to go out here and win 10 games. They're not. That's the reality. They're not. Florida has the number 2 hardest schedule in college football this year. They're not going to go out there and win 10 games. I'm not even saying they're going to win 9. 8, that's a fantasy dream. I'm saying they might win 7. And I know y'all like, well, what 7? Again, Florida play those same teams that everybody counting them out on, every single year, with the exception of Arkansas and maybe another team. And
But
all them other
the
teams that
talent disparity, there's a lot of talent disparity right now.
you can say that, but until we see them on the field, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Because
And
y'all got a fairly young team,
that's
and
okay.
your schedule don't favor it, especially next year either.
I think next year it's okay. Next year it'll be a lot more experience on the team. It'll just be I think next year will be even better. I think this year they just shooting for 7 to keep the recruits.
I don't see it, man. I can tell you, I don't see it.
I know you don't,
If you
because
go on a if you
you
go on
looking
a
at the
4-8,
SEC team. Okay, I'll break it down to you real quick. You say, for all the people that are non-Gator fans, oh, y'all finna get drugged by Tennessee, Kentucky, and South Carolina, Arkansas, obviously Georgia, and whoever else y'all got that ain't SEC.
LSU
LSU.
gonna drag you. Florida State
So
gonna drag
so
you too.
so and let me speak on that. I even start with LSU. Can you pull up the last time LSU blew out Florida in the last 10
Now
years?
I'm saying they don't necessarily have to blow you out. They're just gonna win.
Oh, okay, cool.
Win
I
comfortable.
would venture to
But
say,
I think if they were to blow you out, this year would be that year.
you think so?
Yeah.
Because of the lack
They
of
had the
experience?
opportunity to blow y'all out last year and they blew it.
I don't know. Florida didn't back down in none of the games that they lost. They just was under. They didn't have the talent for the most
Come
part.
on, look, coming from a true Seminole, have y'all kept running the ball? Y'all should have beat us last year.
Actually, y'all wasn't supposed to be in that game. Florida beat themselves.
Oh, they
Truthfully,
did.
I thought that going into that game, hearing the hype behind Jordan Travis, that it was going to be a blowout. I thought last year y'all was going to blow Florida out. Only to see,
I never think we're gonna blow out Florida or Miami. That's a rivalry game. I would have never expected 45-3 last year.
I got to be honest with you, bro, because I hate Florida State for personal reasons. I was really rooting for Miami that year, or last year.
What's the
That
personal reasons?
Well, one, and it's it's petty, but when we went, my high school, we went to the Seminole 707 camp, and they had the lineman camp and everything as well. We won the 707 camp and the lineman camp. I dominated in that lineman camp, and I actually won the MVP. My high school won the MVP, and they didn't offer none of us, not one of us. Some of us wasn't necessarily D1 players, I'll admit that, but some of us was. And that's one. Two, I just don't like Florida State. That's just something about them. They just,
I got you, my guy. I got you. I got you.
I'm just being,
I don't like those guys at all.
I'm just being honest. Like, and I have a lot of Seminole family, and I don't like them because they like Seminoles. I hate their colors. I've been to their facility. It ain't all that. It's just, I just don't like Florida State. That's just me.
The
And
feelings,
I'm
the
pretty,
feelings are mutual, dude. I root for Miami before root for the Gators. I would never root for the Gators. I don't care if they play a Russian team. I hate the Gators.
And as a Miami fan, I ain't rooting for neither one of y'all.
that's because y'all haven't been relevant enough to even say who you want to win. I'm just saying, like, I'll be honest, as a Gator fan, man, I've rooted for Miami for a couple of years, like seeing some of y'all games, and it'd be like, bro, come on, win. Y'all
Dude, I
losing
was
to them.
mad. I was mad when they cheated Duke Miami a couple years ago.
Cheated, dude.
Yeah,
You
on that
talk
fleet,
about
on
when they
that
Go watch that
kickoff.
replay 100 times, and you'll never see
That man was
cheating nowhere.
down. I see two of
That
them
man
dude
was
knees
never
down.
down.
are you
Nobody
talking
knees
about
was
when they
down.
kept pitching the
They
ball
did
back?
replay. They looked at it
That return, yeah.
instantly. That was one of the
hmm
longest reviews they ever did in college football.
Yeah, it was. It was almost as long as the one that we did against Florida State in 2017 when they thought the knee was down before we beat them. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
y'all.
it have been a
My bad.
lot in them series.
You
I
know
remember
the worst call out.
Miami beat us a couple years up there when old McFadden got burnt over there. They replayed that stuff 30 times.
Oh yeah, he ain't never won against Miami.
So
Who?
to the
McFadden.
Florida State fan, just saying that sentence just makes me mad. To the Florida State fan, You know y'all play us in Gainesville this year, right?
And
Have you looked at y'all record in Gainesville?
it don't matter, man.
It does.
Line them up.
Home field advantage does matter in college. We can't even act like that doesn't play a factor. I'm not saying that's the difference between 30 and 40 points, but home field advantage does play a factor.
Jordan, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm just in here listening to y'all having a little mid off in here between Florida State, Florida, Miami.
So you don't see no improvement in any of these SEC teams?
Yeah, no. Sarge was talking about the SEC East getting better. I was like, I don't really see it because I think.
So you don't think? Tennessee's improved. I mean, you could
Have
be.
they?
I think Tennessee gonna take.
He said they're gonna be. He said they're gonna be
I think
better.
Tennessee gonna be take a step back this year.
South
what I'm
Carolina
saying.
improved.
No,
they didn't.
They just got
they lost everybody.
another year.
South Carolina just lost everybody. They had 7 starters coming back.
All right, keep sleeping on them Gamecocks.
I know, but you got Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they have a new OC.
All right. Since we're doing the Spencer Rattler, what's the word? Slander. Would you take Spencer Rattler or would you take Graham Mertz?
Oh, Spencer.
I'm taking Spencer, but that ain't.
Of course, you gonna take
really
Spencer because
much.
he got more quality reps and more. He has better playmaking skills. But that's 2 different offenses. And didn't Spencer Rattler transfer from somewhere because he couldn't make it?
Well, no, one just came in. Nick and Nick now.
Wasn't Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma or something like that?
Yeah,
she doing it.
He got benched for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, man, that's tough. You got benched for a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
But it wasn't just that. He was having a terrible game.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't playing good.
That's Spencer Rattler problem. He's inconsistent because this same South Carolina team y'all talking about, they got blew out by Florida last year.
Yeah.
And as explosive, quote unquote, Spencer Rattler can be, how many points did they score? Was it 14?
To South Carolina defense, they probably thought that was a bye week.
Man, come on, man. We play South Carolina just about every single year.
Because we saw how they skull dragged Tennessee.
Which is why I said Tennessee is overhyped. They got some good players over there. I'm not gonna take that from them. They got a fairly decent roster over there. I'm not gonna take that from them. But this is Tennessee. This is 1 year that Tennessee has been good, and all of a sudden, they're second behind Georgia.
I think they ended the season strong. So they beat the bejesus out of Clemson.
If you watch that game, they didn't really.
On the rise.
But regardless, they have to replace Hendon Hooker. They have to replace those receivers. They had some pieces on defense.
Joe Milton?
Yeah.
He's been getting a lot of praise this offseason, though.
Yeah, but I don't think. But you gotta remember, Hendon Hooker was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football. He made the right decisions. He was timely. He was quick with his decisions. I got to see it from Jim first.
With all the
he had a good game against Clemson's injured secondary, but I want to see
not
him
only that, it was no
full
film
season.
on him, so he was basically an Anthony Richardson, but for a Tennessee team.
But on the Florida Gators, I think he'll have a tremendous year against y'all because let's just be honest. Outside of Jason Marshall, who do y'all really have as DBs? And a lot of them is banged up too. Jason Marshall himself is banged up.
Come on now, everybody got banged up players. That don't mean they're gonna be injured or out for the game or out for the season. Justice Boone out for the season as a DN or an edge, but and everybody was like, "Oh, y'all really gonna be sorry." Whole time we got somebody that they feel like is even better than him stepping in.
Oh man, you buying into the Jack Pyburn?
I'm not saying that. I've actually seen him practice, and I've seen a little bit of him from last year. I'm okay with him Sap stepping in at that edge position. I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, all of them are unproven until that ball snap. So at the end of the day, I don't think everybody on the defense that's freshmen is going to come in and be true freshmen and just make plays all game long. I don't think or see that happening. But I don't see all of the Power 5 teams that we will play just completely destroying Florida defense worse than what happened last year. Because last year was terrible. Y'all, everybody blame Anthony Richardson for having terrible games, but then at the same time, don't want to say nothing about the defense. Then when the defense step up, Anthony Richardson have a bad game. Anthony Richardson step up, the defense have a bad game. They couldn't get on the same accord. They couldn't. Because there was some games where AR, he bailed the defense out. But it was some games later in the season, I'll admit, that the defense bailed him out. I.e., South Carolina. The defense shut Spencer Rattler down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being honest. The defense shut Spencer Rattler down. You saying they finished strong? Okay, well, we finished strong that game too.
So obviously, your wide receiver, Mr. Ricky here, decided that he want to run his mouth. So they haven't actually lost at home in the last 2 years. Y'all finna break that. That's what he's saying. It's kind of like he's guaranteeing victory in Utah.
At the end of the day, you one of them gaslighters. You one of them people that want to stir up the narrative.
It's okay he said it. Hey, look, it's a quote.
That's a quote from Florida's best receiver right now, currently. I'm gonna give you that. And as far as the receiving room, let's be honest. That's one of the positions alongside positions on defense where you can have freshmen out there and give them real reps, and if they mess up, it's okay because they're going to have 50, 60, 70 more reps to make up for that play. Receiving, let's be real, it's okay to have some freshmen in at receiver. You can do that. Florida is a run-heavy team. I'm okay with that. Now, if you would have said, well, they got 2 freshman backs and we don't really know what they're capable of, and they got Ricky Pearsall and Graham Mertz, then that's a different story. But we got our strength of our offense is going to be the O-line and the running backs and play action to what receivers we do have. Is it going to work?
Yeah, but will your coach have the patience enough to stick with the running game?
See, what I'm getting from Florida is you got a receiver here guaranteeing victory, but then you got Billy Napier. He praising the coaches over there. He praising how tough they play and how long his tenure at Utah is. And
you got to give respect.
They got the best talented team that he's got since he's been the coach over there, and they just won back-to-back Pac-12 championships.
Who in the Pac-12 that's a threat outside of the teams that just left?
They ain't left yet. They still playing this year.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying in general. What, Oregon, Washington, and who else?
Oregon, Washington, USC.
That's 3.
Utah.
That's all you need. That's all you need right there.
Okay. Well, let's run those facts real quick.
Because I mean, let's look at it this way. The SEC, for example, every year y'all are top heavy with about 3 teams. Last year you got what? Georgia, LSU.
4. They had 4 last year.
Yeah, you got Georgia, LSU, Alabama was somewhat in the mix, and
Alabama lost to
Tennessee.
all SEC teams
and Tennessee.
So at the end of the day, when you name the Pac-12 and you name 3 or 4 teams that was top heavy, then it's the same in every conference.
So if you're going down a really deep rabbit hole, man, because then that forced me to say, okay, well, how do those top teams face off or pair off against the top 4 or 5 teams in the SEC? How many dubs do the Pac-12 get in that situation?
Hey, it's a hypothetical. We'll never know.
You're right, but
I can say this though. I can say this. Let me ask you: have you seen the Kamani McLean videos of him being up there in Utah? Not Utah, Colorado.
I seen some of them. I seen the one where you say what?
He's up there throwing up week 1 and all that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because he's not, equipped for that altitude.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the Florida Gators. That's going to be y'all up there.
We'll see.
It's a total different altitude. When y'all
You're
get up there,
right.
y'all going to be gassed faster than they are because they be used to it. They've been practicing in that.
Tennessee.
Nah, Tennessee come to Florida this year.
Yeah, that one's in the swamp.
Arkansas come
Everybody
to the
keep hollering
swamp.
Tennessee. Tennessee had a good season, but people forget. Oh no, it was Tennessee. No, I'm looking at LSU. LSU got blown out by Texas A&M,
Oh man, you just saying that because y'all played them week 1 and you
and
trying
they was
to
averaging
bring
like
them down.
13 points a game.
Listen. You can't compare Florida State to Florida right now in that LSU game because y'all will get Florida State will give LSU a good game, but Florida is not.
You don't think so?
No, LSU by 30.
I don't think Florida defense gonna let them down that bad.
Florida don't have no secondaries, man. Outside of Jason Marshall, they don't really have no secondaries.
Oof.
The Devin Moore guy that they've been praising about, he's injured too. Week 1 for them is full of uncertainty.
So
They
Florida had they gave you their prediction? T, had they gave you their prediction on the Utah game?
We can ask them right now. Y'all put y'all score prediction for Utah versus Florida in the chat. Most of them say they're gonna win.
they should have won last year
They
in
did win
Florida.
last year. Oh, you talking about Utah?
No, the quarterback made a boneheaded play. The way
Yeah,
could
at
have
the
won
end
the
of the
game.
game when he threw that pick. Yeah,
Ain't he about 30 years old? He should have knew better.
man.
Wow.
He
Hey
said
T, what you
21
think
to
about
20.
their linebacker recruiting class? Boy, that's one of the best linebacker recruiting classes I've seen in a long time.
You talking about Florida or Utah?
Florida. Florida.
Come on now, you know he wasn't talking about no Utah.
Listen, man. All I'm saying that guy Darius Haynes, y'all go 4-8. He might be a take for somebody else. That's
I don't think
actually
all the boys
gonna
gonna
wear that
stick.
orange. He might be a take
I
for
don't think all the
somebody
boys gonna
else.
stick to Florida.
I don't think they gonna. I
My
don't.
thing is with a lot of these people out here saying that, y'all do realize most of the time, not everybody, obviously, but with those players that commit before the season, majority of those players stick
You're right.
Yeah,
regardless of
they
how the
do.
season play
Percent.
out.
You're
If you
right.
look at
It's
the percentage, they
97%.
do. I
It's
think it's like
I'm
97%.
not saying, and I'm not even saying some of them won't jump ship. I'm actually agreeing with you that some of them will jump ship. I give you that, but the way y'all, not just y'all here, but the way people be talking about Florida class, I guess because we in the top 5, because people definitely were saying that about Miami last year. But the way people be talking about Florida class and as soon as they start losing, everybody gonna leave. Bro, this still the University of Florida, bro. Like we as
No.
adults, as older adults, we know, but we look at it differently from how kids are looking at it. So to say, well, they just gonna jump ship because ain't nobody told none of these kids, hey, we finna win 10 games, come be a part of this, and we go out there and lay an egg. That is not the pitching recruit. It's
No,
not.
I was saying they won't. Me saying that jumping ship ain't got nothing to do with. I think they gonna jump ship because these kids these days don't like to compete, and it'll be a playing time thing to make them jump ship. Not that they don't like Florida. Another school can come along and say, "Hey, man, we got more room over here at linebacker. You can get to play. You go to Florida,
Yeah,
you
you
got
gotta. I
four
mean,
coming in with you."
let's be honest.
Mm.
With a lot of the injuries that y'all do have, think about it. A lot of the younger guys gonna get some snaps, gonna get some burn. It's gonna make it even
exactly.
harder for some of those guys to come in and see playtime anytime soon.
I don't know about that because Florida has already shown under Billy Napier that we will let you get some play time or let you get in the game if you work for it. Because if you want to be honest, a lot of people would have ETN to just out there and have it.
I mean,
I'm
perfect
just saying.
example. Look at Florida was telling me they got the best running back room in the country. They got ETN, they
Nope.
got Johnson, and then
They
they
got
got
a
Corral right
top
behind
5.
them. And then boom, now next thing you know, Corral is already out and he ain't even game time yet.
I mean,
Yeah, going back to what dude said about
you say what?
And recruiting at the end of the year. Most of Miami damage was done at the end of the year for recruiting. They got a lot of people on signing day, so nobody had a chance to jump.
I mean,
I
at the
think
end
the
of the
biggest
day,
thing for last year with Miami and Florida was that Cormani McClain situation because both teams really wanted him. And as much as everybody wanted to say, "Oh, Florida will," I had to watch all these damn T2I videos of him talking trash about that. I want you to know that was a warm place in my heart when I seen him go to Colorado. It was a very wrong spot because I wish I could have.
there's a starting. Hey, I'm gonna return the favor right now. There's a starting quarterback at Arizona State this year that I'm love to watch.
Rashad?
Oh yeah, that boy starting. I saw that.
You talking about Rashad?
And I'm gonna be watching Rashada start over there, and I'm gonna be looking at y'all starting Graham Mertz.
I don't think Rashad is gonna be that good. If I'm being honest with you, I was actually one of the fans. I'm one of the fans that I'm glad we don't got him.
Well, we saw Graham Mertz, and we know he ain't that good. We could speculate on Rashada, but we know for a fact Graham Mertz ain't no good. He had the same numbers that TVD had last year, and TVD only played 6 games.
I mean, you do realize Wisconsin a run heavy team, right? I mean, like they running the ball.
He had the same numbers TVD had, and TVD had 6 less games than him. So he could have made up all them throws, but he was too busy throwing interceptions.
Man, come on, man. That man threw the ball the times that he did on every day he played against. They knew they only gonna run play action after they run the ball the first 2 times and get 6-7 yards apart. Gonna try to run the play action screen or a play action or a slant route. We gonna be waiting right there.
I watched Graham Mertz at Florida throwing behind receivers. I've been making fun of it all year on Twitter. Throwing behind receivers, throwing behind tight ends, throwing behind everybody. Then in y'all scrimmage, one of them fans, man, who got crickets? Somebody sound like they typing up an essay or something.
I was about to say something about that because I hear it too.
Yeah, I hear. What is AT? It's Florida turn. You remember Wisconsin sent us that bullshit ass quarterback. Now it's Florida turn.
Hey man. All I know is I see Graham Mertz throwing behind all them quarterbacks. All them tight ends and receivers. And then when that scrimmage came around and them fans was recording it, you saw the same thing. Hold on. What is? Okay. Yeah, I don't hear it.
It's there a little bit.
I think that you got to go out and come back in, Sam.
All right,
Yeah, definitely was Sam. What's your thoughts on Graham Mertz, Jordan?
Man, just like watching him at Wisconsin, the little bit I did, I saw from times because I didn't pay attention to Wisconsin like that. He just, for whatever reason, he just did not play well in structure. I don't know what it was, but he just poor throws, poor decision making.
Now you're on Twitter just as much as I am. Have you seen the practice films and all that?
What, like them throwing them little screen passes and stuff?
Screen passes across the middle, all that. He's always throwing behind receivers.
Yeah, I mean,
They
he
all,
hasn't looked impressive in those snippets
The
we've
light is
seen.
on.
I didn't pay attention to that. I didn't expect you to be in here.
I think Florida fans, I don't think they really want to dig deep into the problems that they have at their quarterback position. But it's you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. All the troubles they had, whether it's recruiting the one kid that was singing in the car. They're not gonna talk about that. Then you got the other one that was doing the criminal activities that we can't talk about on YouTube either.
That
Then
I
the
will
Jaden
say
Rashada
this.
situation, it's been a hectic quarterback room for you guys. Then
I
you had the
think the worst
opportunity to go into the
situation.
portal, and y'all got the worst quarterback out the portal.
That's a personal opinion. I think, but you are spot on with that about the whole situation with quarterbacks, because it went from Florida having, okay, we got some no names back there, but we got a couple studs.
Someone got an echo.
Yeah, that's Corey. Corey, you got to kill the YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, Corey, you echoing. You got to kill YouTube. Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was Corey. But yeah, man, quarterback situation been terrible. Then your running back room, you got your ones and twos, but your number 3 fell off, lost the injury. You probably won't get him back the whole season. He'll probably be out. Then you got your edge or your one of your defensive linemen, he might be out for the whole year too. Oh man, y'all are young, inexperienced, and you losing players to injury. It's gonna be a hell of a year for y'all. I think them 4-8 predictions might be correct. I think Vegas having it at 5.5 might be correct.
What's their win total? Was it 6.5?
No,
What is it?
5.5.
Oh, it's 5.5.
5.5. Utah's a 7-point favorite in this game coming up too. It was 9, but you know the quarterback situation at Utah is kind of iffy too.
Yeah. I don't know if Rising's gonna play.
Like I said, that the situation where you see Kamani McLean up there in that altitude throwing up and 3-4 times in practice, I think around 7 times he threw up. That's what you're gonna see from Florida when they get up there, because they ain't used to that. And this is one of those games that just, it's not like Florida's been taking trips anywhere else outside of the Florida, except for in the SEC. So they're not used to that kind of deal.
That's a good point. It's different up there.
I think Sam is talking, but we're not hearing nothing from him.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because I mean, man, Florida hasn't left Florida or played anybody outside of Florida in so long. I think once they get into them environment,
Yep.
I think once y'all get them environment, it's gonna be tough.
I actually was saying what you just said about the Kamani McLean situation. Last year when Utah came down to Florida, they got here like a week and a half, 2 weeks early to get adjusted to this kind of weather.
That's what I was saying. Why don't y'all do that? Why don't y'all go
that? That's going on. I don't make me lie and say what date they're going up there, or if they already up there. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not gonna lie and say that, but Billy Napier actually did address that in one of the press conferences that they were gonna get up
I
there.
heard that from him, but I was thinking, how? I mean, how can you get up there early? Because these kids still got to go to class.
So this is what they was talking about. So basically, and I will admit, because they can't avoid it. So they said it takes approximately 13 days to get adjusted to that altitude up there.
Yeah, so y'all already lost.
Come on now. But anyway, they said it takes approximately 13 days to get adjusted to that altitude, according to sports science and their sports science department. So what he was saying, what they did was, or doing, I'm not a part of the staff, and I'm not right next to the man with them. They're gonna get up there or have gotten up there early and getting acclimated to it. Are they up there
Allegedly,
13 days prior? No, I'm not gonna say that. But
allegedly,
I do believe they get up there a week early.
allegedly.
Correct. Correct. Allegedly, because I can't say, oh, they are up there right now. And as far as classes, I can't even give them the excuse of saying, oh, they got classes online, because a lot of them are freshmen.
Mm.
I'll give you that. A lot of them freshmen, so I can't sit there and say, well, you know, they got all their classes online. They taking classes while they up there. I don't think that's the case. I think they get up there a week early, and I think they do what they got to do. I'm not saying they go up there and the altitude don't affect them, because it's gonna affect them. But I don't
Well,
think that's gonna be an end in
according
determining
to
factor for why we lose.
according to Tebow's T-bone, Billy ain't worrying about no altitude.
He said that. He said based on the conditioning that they have done and how they prep for that situation, he said it's gonna play a factor, but it's not gonna be like dramatic.
Man, I got a perfect solution for Billy Napier, man. He better call up Toriyama and tell him to bring the hyperbolic time chamber down here.
He talking about Toriyama. I'm sitting there like, damn, who that?
What the? He said the hyperbolic
You
time
might as well
chamber.
go to wherever part in that hyperbolic time chamber and find that altitude. Cause that thing finna hit y'all.
Y'all just train.
Well, we gonna see. That's all I got to say, because it football season here. We gonna see if it's sooner than later. So for me, all I'm saying is this: y'all can say what you want about Florida, y'all can say what y'all want about the Gators, but until we see them on the field and in action, and until that clock hits zero, you really can't say that they just gonna go out there and get walked down the field and get drugged. Because I don't see that, man. I don't see that happening.
I see y'all
And I'm
giving
not
them.
even being as a fan. I just, as a program, that's just not something that's just gonna happen.
I see y'all giving them a solid 2.5 quarters, and
That's
then y'all gonna fold the rest of the way.
it's funny that you say that, because I was watching somebody a YouTube, not YouTube, but Utah's little YouTube channels that they have, and from their end, they think that they're gonna either shut Florida out to under 10 points, under 20 points, or it's just gonna be a blowout.
Wow.
I watched the
At
whole.
least
I
I gave
watched the
y'all two and a
whole.
half quarters. They wow,
You say
man,
what?
man. They saying blowouts and stuff. I must be getting soft.
Man, look, I watched the Locked On Utah football myself. I keep up with all teams for the most part, and all the teams that we play, to see like what everybody's perspective is. Utah feels like their defense is going to shut Florida down. They said our run game will be shut down completely. That was one podcast. They said they're going to shut down the run game completely. Another podcast says we'll get some plays, but we're not going to have a running game where it's effective, just because of the returning starters that they have. And to top it all off, they just don't respect the offense at all. They said the offense won't be able to do anything with their defense, and our defense won't be able to start their offense. They said all of this in the span of 23 minutes and 45 seconds.
Wow.
Now,
Them boys-
They confident.
some of that stuff was true when it came to some of the stuff that they was talking about with depth chart and the players that they got coming back and all that stuff. Again, I'm not taking nothing from Utah. I'm not saying that they're not a good program. I'm not gonna say none of that because they are. They are. But you're not gonna sit here. You can't convince me as a football fan, somebody that played football in the state of Florida, that Utah is just gonna blow Florida out, or Utah is just they're gonna shut Florida out. I don't see it happening. Until it happens, I don't see it happening. If Georgia couldn't shut Florida out to 0 points, what make you think Utah finna do it?
Hey,
That's the toughest team in the country, and we play them every single year. And I've never seen Florida not score on Georgia. Even last year, we scored on them. And not last year, but the year before last, we scored on them.
I ain't calling no shutout. I'm just saying,
I mean,
at least I gave y'all 2.5 quarters, but they saying blowout. Man, I might need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
well, I mean, you know what the game plan for Utah gonna be. They're gonna try, sell out to stop the run. They don't respect Graham Mertz at
They
all.
don't. They don't.
They're gonna have to see. They're gonna have to see it.
Hey,
And that's okay.
your daddy
I'm okay
knows.
with that.
I agree with you, my guy. I don't see it either, but I'm here for it if it happens.
No, I don't. I ain't predicting a shutout, and I don't. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think Florida's athletically is they're going to be able to match up, but it's just about are they? It comes down to quarterback play and who establishes the run better. Because if Utah is getting even if Utah is getting like 4-5 yards a carry, that's still, and Florida's getting 2-3. I mean, I think that's the difference.
And that you're right about that. That's you actually hit the nail on the head with that one. But based off of what we already have seen from both teams, I don't think that scenario is the same. Now, granted, this whole quarterback situation, as you said, is going to be the key determining factor. I'd venture to say this: people saying that Florida they're not gonna.
Oh man, I just got some exclusive information. Hey, shout out to the Utah insiders for sending me this. Utah is basically saying if Florida comes in there and beat them, I'm just gonna share it with you guys. But if y'all beat them, just be prepared.
They getting out the chairs.
Nah.
They got them on deck.
And they even got the black ones on deck too.
They got the black chairs.
They said the one that's at the top is designated for Billy.
Why did I have the feeling that somebody was about to say that?
Man.
All of a sudden, the black chairs, the black Air Force One for chairs now.
Yeah, I know.
Hey man, it's been about an hour and a half. I'm about to call this thing a night. It's Friday night. I'm pretty sure everybody want to go out and have them some good time or whatever. I don't know what time. I might do a college football stream in the morning. But hey man, appreciate y'all for coming through on this Gator Friday. Season's coming up. I think we got one more Gator Friday until y'all actually play. It's going, man, I can't believe it. Sunday morning, we'll be actually talking about games that's been played.
It is some games coming on tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm telling you, tomorrow, Sunday morning, because I'm gonna do a show on Sunday morning. Talk about all the college football. Make some predictions too. We're gonna predict the games. We're gonna predict the upcoming games and everything. Man.
I'm picking Miami of Ohio, by the way.
Yeah, I got something for you.
Stop it. Get some help.
He talking about I got
y'all better not lose that game because the real Miami is this a battle for who gets to call.
I'm not even worried about that game. I'm
you
not
say
even
that
gonna,
now.
I'm not
Just
even
say
gonna
that time.
preview Miami of Ohio. I'm not even gonna give them that energy.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna preview them. I don't even know who's on their team. I can't name one player on Miami Ohio team.
Did you preview Middle Tennessee State last year?
That was a anomaly.
Oh, that's what that was.
That was definitely an anomaly.
Okay.
I think you might want to leave on the good notes because he's trying to get you on.
Yeah.
Man, the cheers are out. If Florida beat Utah, it's going down. But no need to
I
worry.
can't
They
go
can keep those. They can keep those weapon of mass destruction hiding.
Hey man, I'll be waiting for this for the live stream tomorrow whenever you get it started. So
Yeah, I got to dig deep across the whole college football, see what's going on heading into this season. It's gonna be good though. It's gonna be good to see. Is game day going out tomorrow?
I don't think so. No. Who?
No.
I don't think so. Ain't nobody worth watching really gonna be playing tomorrow.
No. Because I mean they ain't going to Ireland for for Notre Dame Navy.
You right, because
Vandy,
that's a blowout.
Vandy, Hawaii,
Blowout.
San Jose State, USC.
I gotta check because ain't no way in hell they just not gonna do no game day. College game day, week 0. It got to be at least one game worth going to.
No, it ain't gonna be no game. It ain't gonna be college game day.
Yeah,
because they didn't do one. They ain't do one last year.
What about
for
your
week
boy
0.
Josh Pate? He got any game he going to this week?
Oh no. He's gonna do a show on Sunday night.
Oh, okay. I got to check him out. I normally just listen to the shows when I'm at work, but it's been hectic. But anyways, man, appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all in the morning, probably around 9, 10 o'clock.
all right.
All right, y'all.